In the long history of the world, only a few generations have been granted the role of defending freedom in its hour of maximum danger. I do not shrink from this responsibility. I welcome it.
On November 22, 1963, the United States was thrust into mourning when President John F. Kennedy was assassinated in Dallas, Texas. Over the decades, this tragic event has not only left a dark mark on American history, but also has spawned countless debates, controversies, and conspiracy theories. With each passing year, new evidence, theories, and voices have emerged, keeping the mystery alive. In recent years, a significant renewed interest in the case has been sparked by a promise made by President Donald Trump to declassify additional documents related to the assassination. The legacy of an unsolved tragedy.
Sir, we have an executive order ordering the declassification of files relating to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy.
The assassination of President Kennedy marked a turning point in modern American history. The official narrative, largely shaped by the Warren Commission's report, released in 1964, concluded that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone in the assassination. However, from the beginning, numerous discrepancies and unanswered questions have fueled persistent skepticism about this conclusion. Eyewitness testimonies that conflicted with the Commission's findings, along with perceived inconsistencies in the physical evidence, laid fertile ground for theories suggesting the involvement of multiple conspirators. For many Americans, the shock of losing a charismatic leader was compounded by the unsettling feeling that the full truth about the assassination might never be known. The enduring uncertainty has not only preserved the assassination in the collective memory, but also turned it into a symbol of government secrecy and mistrust. Former President Donald Trump's promise to declassify thousands of pages relating to the JFK assassination has provided a fresh impetus for both professional historians and conspiracy theorists alike. The contribution of Paul Landis.
And Paul Landis, who's the Secret Service agent we're talking about, Jackie Kennedy's Secret Service agent, was there that day. He was in the follow-on car called Halfback, and he saw the president's head explode.
Amidst the resurgence of interest, several key voices have emerged, contributing new perspectives to the debate. One such voice is that of ex-Secret Service agent Paul Landis. In a recent book that has drawn media attention and critical scrutiny, Landis offers his first-hand observations and interpretations of the events surrounding President Kennedy's assassination. His background in the Secret Service lends his work a certain weight, as he claims to have insights that only someone with intimate knowledge of the inner workings of the presidential security apparatus could provide. Landis's book delves into previously underexplored aspects of the assassination, including procedural oversights and potential internal conflicts within the security detail assigned to protect the president. According to Landis, there were anomalies in the way security was managed that fateful day, anomalies he believes warrant further investigation. His narrative suggests that elements within the Secret Service might have been either unprepared or overwhelmed, and he posits these operational failures could have inadvertently contributed to the tragic outcome. And his work has stirred debate by questioning the conventional narrative endorsed by earlier investigations. While he stops short of definitively endorsing a conspiracy theory, his detailed account and the presentation of new evidence have encouraged readers and researchers to reassess long-held assumptions. The book has prompted renewed discussions on whether all facets of the investigation were as transparent and thorough as they should have been. Controversial claims.
My mom found out she was pregnant with me the day Kennedy was killed, and that started my lifelong trek almost 43 years ago now of researching the Kennedy assassination. And again, until I came to Dallas for the first time in 1987, I really didn't have much of a thought on it. I still believed Oswald was a shooter, but I wrote my report saying he had an accomplice because of the eyewitness testimony of different shots from different directions.
Another controversial development comes from Gary Fannin, a figure whose claims have further muddied the waters. He's put forth the assertion that Lyndon B. Johnson, JFK's vice president and successor, was in some way responsible for orchestrating the assassination. This theory, which diverges significantly from the mainstream narrative, implicates LBJ in a plot that goes far beyond the isolated actions of Lee Harvey Oswald. According to Fannin, there are a number of circumstantial pieces of evidence and inconsistencies in the official accounts that point towards LBJ. Fannin's argument is built on the premise that LBJ had both the political motivation and the means to orchestrate such a drastic measure. He posits that LBJ's ambition and political maneuvering created an environment where eliminating Kennedy could be seen as beneficial to his rise to power. Fannin claims that behind the facade of a solitary gunman lies a broader, more insidious plan involving high-level political conspiracies. Critics of Fannin's theory argue that the evidence presented is speculative and relies heavily on interpretive leaps rather than conclusive proof. Nonetheless, his assertions have resonated with a segment of the population that's already inclined to question the official narrative. The idea that a high-ranking political figure could have played a role in such a monumental event challenges the conventional understanding of American political history and forces a re-examination of decades-old documents and testimonies. Fannin's theory also raises questions about the nature of political power and the lengths to which individuals might go to secure it. By implicating LBJ, a figure who had long been controversial and a polarizing presence in American politics, Fannin taps into broader themes of governmental secrecy and internal betrayal. Whether one views his arguments as compelling evidence of foul play or as an overreach based on circumstantial data, there's no denying his claims are a provocative twist in the ongoing debate. The renewed interest in the JFK assassination, catalyzed by the promise of declassified documents and amplified by voices like Paul Landis and Gary Fannin, reflects a broader cultural and political phenomenon. In an era defined by rapid information exchange and increasing public demand for transparency, historical events are subject to continuous scrutiny. A multifaceted debate with no final answer.
I'm reluctant to point at Johnson for the murder. As I said at the time in 1991, I do believe totally he was responsible for the cover-up.
The assassination of President John F. Kennedy continues to be a source of fascination, controversy, and relentless inquiry. The renewed interest triggered by the promise to declassify previously hidden documents has opened the door to fresh debates and a re-examination of one of the most significant events in modern American history. With new voices entering the fray like Paul Landis and Gary Fannin, the narrative surrounding JFK's assassination is more contested than ever. In the end, the renewed interest in JFK's assassination is not merely about reopening old wounds. It's about striving for a more complete understanding of history. Whether the forthcoming declassified documents will provide definitive answers remains to be seen. What is certain, however, is that the voices of people like Paul Landis and Gary Fannin have reinvigorated the debate, challenging both historians and the public to look beyond the established narrative. Their contributions, controversial as they may be, remind us that the quest for truth is an ongoing process, one that demands open inquiry, critical thought, and a willingness to question even the most widely accepted versions of our past. Ultimately, the renewed interest in John F. Kennedy's assassination is a call to all who believe in the power of truth, a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming mystery, the pursuit of knowledge must continue. With every new theory, every declassified page, and every bold claim, we are reminded that history is not just a record of what has happened, but a living conversation about who we are, what we value, and how we choose to remember our past. Now it's time to hear from you. Do you think LBJ was involved in President Kennedy's assassination? Do you think any of the declassified documents will provide any evidence that we don't know about? Let us know in the comment section below.